and make a statement. Looks like the family is there, and they're getting ready to to come to the microphone. So we'll listen in.
Okay. So my name's Robbie Parker. My family is one of the families that lost a child yesterday in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings here in Connecticut. I've been contacted by so many people and agencies wanting to know how we're doing, and I just thought that this might be the best way to share those feelings with everybody. First of all, I'd really like to offer our deepest condolences to all the families who were directly affected by this shooting. It's a horrific tragedy, and we want everybody to know that our hearts and our prayers go out to them. This includes the family of the shooter. I can't imagine how hard this experience must be for you. And I want you to know that our family and our love and our support goes out to you as well.
That means, yes, it's a hoax.
Whose face was frozen in fear.
Her face was frozen. It was frozen in fear.
Her face looked frozen.
Her face looked frozen. Her face was frozen in fear.
She was such an attractive woman, but her face was frozen in fear.
Her face looked like it was stone.
Here, she looked like stone.
It looked like stone. The children were so frightened. I didn't know why they were on my lawn. I didn't know how they got there. I want them to call me Grampy or Uncle Gene or that guy or hey you. I want to hold them. I want to be with them. I want to tell them that there is light after the darkness. They were sitting there. They were sitting there. And I had no idea why.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere.
I'm let down, dude. I tell you what. Shit! Fuck! Oh, my ear! We need to get the fuck out of here!
Nope, no weapons over there. Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here. Oops, this photo wasn't supposed to be in here. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal. This is the Skull and Bone secret signal.
Kerry and George W. Bush. But we've discovered they do have something in common. During their respective college days at Yale, they both belonged to a group called Skull and Bones.
And what you're looking at here, staggeringly, is a group of people, some of the most famous people in America, in long gowns. Behind them there, you see a 40-foot stone owl.
You heard Lynn talk about giving President Obama one of Gracie's pictures. She gave me the same picture, a Xerox copy of it. This is an owl that Grace had drawn. And President Obama said that he would cherish it, and I'm certainly going to frame this and cherish it as well.
What you're hearing is the first recording ever made of the Skull and Bones initiation ceremony. It has never been broadcast before.
These people in the space program, nassholes I call them. In case you haven't heard, the latest disaster for the rest of the universe is that the United States is going to go to Mars. Okay? Oh, yeah. We're going to go to Mars.
What was the temperature like in the spacecraft on the moon?
Well, the lunar module that was the vehicle that we landed on the moon, it was just like this room we're sitting in here right now. We had a thermostat, and it worked a little different than the air conditioning in a house or a building. However, it had the same effect. So if it was too hot, we moved it up a little cooler, and so we could get just the right temperature we wanted. Now, when we put on our spacesuits and closed them up, then we had a backpack on, and in that back was essentially an air conditioner too, a different kind, a kind that would work in a vacuum, and then we could keep our suits the right temperature. If you just took a lunar module, and well, let's take the climate control and it fails. All right, what happens then? You've got air and setting there, it's 70 degrees. If the lunar module is setting in the sun, which it always is, then slowly but surely that temperature inside is going to go up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you ain't going to make it because you're going to cook long before that.
What powered the air conditioning?
What powered the air? Batteries. You had a number of big batteries in the lunar module. They powered pumps, they powered the air conditioning, they powered the communication system, and that's the reason we were only able to stay on the moon 33 hours. Later on, we got a little better batteries, more batteries, and we could stay longer. But batteries turned out to be, for the weight involved, the thing that gave you the power. Now the best. Now, the command module, which had to last from the moon and back 10, 12 days, no. Now, I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did.
Beginning at an altitude of 1,000 miles and extending an additional 25,000 miles, lay lethal bands of radiation called the Van Allen radiation belts. Every space mission in history with humans on board, from both the United States and Soviet Union, from the first in 1961 to the present, has been well below this deadly radiation field. Mercury, Gemini, Soyuz, Skylab, the Space Shuttle, all maintained altitudes well below 1,000 miles. All except Apollo. Scientists say the phenomena known as the Van Allen belts can spawn killer electrons when the Earth's magnetic field changes. These electrons that are being studied could have an important effect, not only on satellites, which has happened in the past, but could also affect the astronauts by creating large doses of radiation that could influence their health. The electrons can penetrate through various materials, including spacesuits, and can pass through, in fact, the walls of the space station.
I don't know the distance to the Van Allen radiation belt, and if we did, it wasn't a problem. If we were going to encounter it, then we would have had to build the spacecraft and the spacesuit to not give humans a problem. We built it that way.
The belts are 1,000 miles to 25,000 miles above the Earth.
Then we went right out through them.
No effects on your cells?
We didn't even know it. I don't think anybody, well, maybe somebody said you went through the radiation belt, but we didn't feel it inside, and we didn't get any, added radiation.
CNN, they said that the radiation belts surrounding Earth are more dangerous than previously believed because the astronauts saw shooting stars with their eyes closed. Just when they got within 600.
Radiation belt. We saw shooting stars, but they're not shooting stars from with your eyes closed, although they look like it. Close your eyes and just pay attention. You don't notice it unless you pay attention. Then all of a sudden you'll see a little flash like a shooting star, except it's like that. There goes one this way. Then one just blossoms. And then not that fast. Maybe you wait 3 minutes or 2 minutes and one goes whoosh. 3 minutes or 2 minutes and one goes whoosh. And one goes whoosh. Whoosh. You don't notice it unless you pay attention. My guess is in Earth orbit, if you closed your eyes and just paid attention, that you would see them. Or closing your eyes or it's dark, you don't notice them. But if you'll close your eyes and pay attention, I saw them one day on the moon. It wasn't dark. And it was kind of dark, and it wasn't dark, and it was kind of dark, and it wasn't dark, and it was kind of dark, and I saw this flash of light, and it looked like it was on the moon, but really it wasn't. It was a flash of light in my eye. A voice on the other end said their name, and I said, okay. They said, I knew who it was. It was the flight director, someone down at the Cape during the test, and he said, we've lost the Apollo 1 crew. We think we've lost the Apollo 1 crew. I said, well, where are they? I said, well, where are they? Because we've run out of time and we want to get to the moon by the end of the decade. And people thought that was a crazy idea. People said, no way, it's too many unknowns. We couldn't possibly do that. There's no way, and George Miller kept saying, if we want to get to the moon by the end of the decade, we're going to have to do this. And I can remember when that was proposed, I thought it was a real crazy idea, not very good idea. Looking back, it was a great idea. Now, von Braun might have been in favor of it or he might not, but I'm sure if we asked him after it was all done, he would have said, what a great idea.
What a great idea.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it. I watched it. Yes, it's a good it's a money-making thing. They don't have the landing legs extended. You know why? It won't hold the lunar module up on Earth. But that's not those landing legs aren't extended. But you know, this is some, you know, guys stand around saying, how can I make some money and make a movie? Well, I can make porno. That's good.
I'm a filmmaker.
I make some money and make a movie. Well, I can make porno. That's good.
I'm way to the moon.
That is bullshit.
Way to the moon.
That is bullshit. Want to not believe it? It's okay, you know? It's okay. It's a better story. It just happens to be a lie. That's all. It just happens to be a lie. That's all.
Would you swear to on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not going to do it because I'll do it over here. I won't do it on your camera.
Well, why not?
Because it just isn't an appropriate thing to do.
Well,
but you're an asshole to do that. You're the same guys, just different guys that did the other person I told you about.
Well, would you put your hand on, if you walked on the moon, here's the opportunity to set the record straight, to put your left hand on the Bible.
Left hand.
Raise your right hand.
Okay.
And you realize this can be used as a video deposition in the future. And if you lie, you'll be guilty of perjury.
I understand that.
Okay. Say your name.
My name is Alan Bean.
I swear to God and affirm.
I swear to God and affirm.
Under penalty of perjury.
Under penalty of perjury.
Treason.
Treason. No, not treason. Treason has nothing to do with it. Let me rephrase this and say, what's treasonous?
That's doing something fraudulent to the taxpayers.
That's crap.
Well, what
that
about
isn't treason.
Under penalty of eternal damnation?
Under penalty of eternal damnation.
And under penalty of treason?
Treason is when you sell out your country.
Well, if you used $135 billion to not go to the moon.
That's still not treason. That's still not treason. Treason is if you tell secrets to another thing. I've said enough. Now you can use that and say, well, you didn't say something else. No. I know how people are. It's okay. Well, take your stuff and get the fuck out.
I've asked 6 other astronauts if they would swear on the Bible, and they refused.
I know they do.
Now, do you believe in God?
Do I?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I wouldn't swear on the Bible.
See the earth, the entire planet Earth, love of Christ. We see the earth, the entire planet Earth, love of Christ.